Hello and welcome to Study with Sudhir. This is your digital classroom and we are looking at geography of the ICSE class 10 syllabus. Remember, we have done the first two video lessons on mineral based industries in India. So I do hope you have looked at those lessons before coming to part 3, and there will be a part 4 and a part 5, because this particular lesson on mineral based industries in India needs both understanding as well as a lot of memory power. So I do hope you eat a lot of badam and ensure that your memory power is good enough. Now part 3, and in fact that was one of the reasons why I was delaying the recording of part 3, because this is the most challenging. Questions do come from the 4 steel plants, iron and steel plants in India, and you will be expected to know where iron or coal or manganese or dolomite or limestone is sourced for each one of these 4 iron and steel plants. So as I said, you need to be good with your memory. Now what is really the best way to remember these names? Now I will tell you two methods which you can use, and whichever works better for you, you could do that. Not much of a difference between the two, but as I said, because at the end of the day, it's for this brain to process and remember all those names, but a lot of code language is this way to go in order to remember it, and I will tell you all that along the way. Now what you need to do is that once we finish with this class, I didn't prepare that chart for you to show because it was just getting too mammoth when I tried doing that. So what you need to do is to have a pen, pencil, color pencils preferably, so that you can mark it accordingly, and a scale. Okay, we look at, there are essentially 4 iron and steel plants in the private sector which are part of your ICSE class 10 syllabus. The first one is the Tata Iron and Steel Company, which is known as TISCO, which is in Jamshedpur in Jharkhand. The second one is the Bhilai Steel Plant, which is in Chhattisgarh. The third one is Rourkela Steel Plant, which is in Odisha, and the fourth one is the Vizag Steel Plant, which is in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so if you see the kind of areas where these steel plants are located, that also will give you an idea about where bulk of the steel manufacturing in India takes place. It is in not exactly south, towards the eastern part of India, central and eastern, Chhattisgarh, Andhra, Jharkhand and Odisha. Okay, you get an idea. And one of the things that I would really urge you students to do, whether it is a 2020 batch, 2021 batch or any batch thereafter, is you should always have a big large size physical map of India, because you need to kind of have a good understanding of where which place is located. It really helps you, not just from an examination and a syllabus point of view, but even otherwise in life. It will help you to know ki Rourkela kahan pe hai, where is Jamshedpur. It always helps. So now I'll just tell you the 2 ways in which we would want to kind of this thing remember. Now in your textbooks, and I would presume whichever textbook you use, I use the Frank Brothers textbook, but whichever textbook you use, many of you keep asking me which textbook to use. It's actually 19-20 ka farak. I'll tell you some reference books later, but in each one of them, I would suppose the map would be there. It is at least here in the Frank Brothers book. Now let's start with TISCO. Now how do you remember TISCO? If you, in the first column, write the full form of TISCO, Tata Iron and Steel Company, TISCO. So you will write the in the first column. The second column, the location of the TISCO plant. Now it is located in Tata Nagar, named after the fact that the Tatas had established it, and it is a suburb of Jamshedpur. So when you say, largely you say Jamshedpur in Jharkhand. Okay, so how do you remember? J. So it's a double J. So Jamshedpur, Jharkhand is how you can remember the location of the TISCO plant. Okay, then in the third column, you also try to write which year was it established in. It was established in 1907. So that has to be a third column. Name of the plant, location, year of establishment, 1907. So if you remember it in a tabular form, you would be able to recall it much better, and you will be able to also memorize it in a more efficient manner, is my advice. And I think this manner would work well for you. The other option, let me tell it to you right at the outset, and you can choose whichever you want to choose, is to go each one of them step by step. You know, you write all the salient parts of each of the 4 plants one by one and try to memorize it. The other option is to have this tabular form and try to memorize it. In both cases, it's a test of your memory power. So this was in 1907, okay, which makes it one of the oldest steel manufacturing plants in India, the oldest, and also it's one of the biggest in Asia as well. Okay, now you come to the exact location where this particular plant is established. This is the confluence of river Kharkai and Subarnika. Many of these names you may find a little difficult, so you will have to kind of write it many times in order to remember many of these things. The power, then you need to write power, because that will again be where the power supply is supplied to each one of these steel plants. In this case, it comes from the Damodar Valley project. Okay, it's also known as DVC project or Damodar Valley project. Then we come to iron ore. इसके लिए iron ore, the basic raw material, where does it come from? In this case, for TISCO, it comes from Singhbhum, which is in Jharkhand, and Mayurbhanj and Bonai in Odisha. Even if you learn 2, that should be fine. So Singhbhum and Mayurbhanj. Singhbhum, again, which is why I stressed on the fact that you need to know your physical India map very well. So if you see the map, you will realize that the distance between Jamshedpur and Singhbhum is not much. It's within the same small state of Jharkhand. Odisha is southwards of Jamshedpur and in Jharkhand. So again, the proximity really matters a lot when you are procuring raw material, because you can get it over the shortest distance possible, saving on a lot of time and expenditure. Then you come to right on the top column, coal. Coal in this case is again brought from Jharia. Okay. Then we come to limestone and dolomite, which are another raw material which are used. This comes from Odisha and Singhbhum, again in Jharkhand. Gangpur is in Odisha. Manganese, another raw material, is brought from Naumondi, again in Jharkhand. The Damodar Valley Corporation project, as I said, it provides for power. Okay, then in addition, you have the labor part. Labor, Jharkhand, you have a lot of labor. In fact, much of the labor, if you have seen in recent days, with this whole thing of migrant or guest workers who have been moving away back home, the maximum number of these guest workers have been coming from the 3 states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Jharkhand. So a lot of this skilled and unskilled labor is available in Jharkhand in order to work at these steel plants. Okay, then you have the rivers which provide the water for cooling. So I'm saying you need to have about this 10 different items, which I will just mention again, and the fact that the Kolkata seaport is close by. It's the closest. The seaport is a major advantage. For Jamshedpur, Kolkata airport, Vizag of course is there, right there. The Visakhapatnam seaport is a very big establishment. So these kind of things also matter a lot. Okay, so which are the different things? Name, year of place where it is established, year of establishment, 3rd. Then you are talking about the exact location, 4, iron ore 5, coal 6, limestone and dolomite 7, manganese 8, power 9, and the other facilities of labor etc. 10, and the water for cooling 11, and the connectivity 12. So these 12 tables you need to make. So as far as TISCO is concerned, you now have the entire table prepared. It will be easy for you to keep looking. And one of the suggestions that I will give, once you are finished with the learning part of this chapter, which is really a test of your memory, I keep on repeating, what you should do is to engage your own family members in some kind of a quiz competition. Just ask them to keep asking you, okay, manganese for Rourkela kahan se aata hai, coal for TISCO kahan se aata hai. You know, if they keep asking you, it will keep testing your memory and you will actually get better, and it will also be a bit of a game and see whether you are better than your family members at remembering this. Let's now come to the steel plants which are in the public sector. TISCO, of course, it's in the private sector and the largest in India. The steel plants which are there in the public sector, which are part of your syllabus, the first one is the Bhilai steel plant. Now, how did the code that I had worked for Tejaswini as far as Bhilai, and remember, because again, I do understand that for many of you 15-year-olds not very familiar with the India map, suddenly to say Bhilai kahan pe aata hai and whether it's in Chhattisgarh and whether many of you will be familiar with Chhattisgarh itself in the India map, well, there could be some doubts, especially students who are not from that part of the country. So the Bhilai steel plant is located in Chhattisgarh, Durg district. So the code that I had worked was BCD, Bhilai, Chhattisgarh's Durg district. The district is called Durg. Okay, just like there, the Jamshedpur is important. Here, Durg is important. The state is Chhattisgarh. So the code that I had worked out was BCD. So once you do all these things, it just makes it easier to remember. Now this was established with the help of USSR in the year 1957. Okay, so again the year you need to remember, and you just mentioned this little bit of extra information that it was established with the help of USSR, and it was the first steel plant to be set up after independence and is the biggest steel plant in India at present. Jamshedpur is the oldest steel plant. This one is the biggest steel plant. Jamshedpur, of course, along with Bhilai, will be one of the biggest establishments in Asia. Okay, here, which again those different elements that you need to remember, iron ore comes from Durg district itself. Again, the proximity factor from a place called Dalli Rajhara, DALLI hyphen RAJHARA, Dalli Rajhara. And also Bastar district. Bastar is in the southern part of Chhattisgarh, which is a Naxal prone, Maoist prone area. I've traveled a lot there. Completely dry, there's a lot of vegetation, tendu leaves, but essentially you wouldn't see any human habitation for miles at end. And the road connectivity in this part of India is abysmal. In fact, the moment you step into Chhattisgarh, which is the southern part of Chhattisgarh, a place called Kunta, from Andhra Pradesh. Actually, you go from Telangana, there is a bit of Andhra Pradesh, and then you step into Kunta. Just as a point of interest, you will see that and I've written articles on it in which you find that the road completely disappears. In fact, I've done documentaries, TV documentaries on it. The road completely disappears the moment you step into Kunta. And from Kunta to go to a place called Sukma, which is the district headquarters, it's a distance of about 75 kilometers. But that 75 kilometer, I remember, would take more than 3 hours. There would be no road. So you just would be driving on gravel and completely dry climate most of the times in the year. So it's a very different kind, no mobile connectivity. Till you reach Sukma, there also only BSNL would work. So it's a very different kind of a world, and you cannot venture anywhere from in between what is called National Highway 30, I think. You cannot go anywhere because 5 kilometers this side, 5 kilometers this side, because that's what they say in those parts of Chhattisgarh, that 5 kilometers this side, 5 kilometers this side, the control of the government of Chhattisgarh ends. It's all the Naxal territory. So you have to be very, very careful, and you will find the CRPF outposts all over the place. Every 5 kilometers roughly, there would be a CRPF outpost. Anyway, I digress. Nothing to do with the mineral based industries. Also, because you see, one of the reasons why there is this entire Maoist movement still in many parts, and actually that's an interesting thing which you should know as part of general knowledge. One of the reasons why Maoist Naxals still have a presence in these parts, you see the irony, it is in Odisha, right? The Andhra-Orissa border is one of the places where the Maoists still have influence, the AOB as it is called, Andhra-Orissa border zone, Chhattisgarh, especially southern part of Chhattisgarh, and Jharkhand, right? And look at the irony of it, that we are talking about the iron and steel plants in these 3 states where there is still a Maoist presence. So a lot of the fight is actually for also the rich mineral resources which are there in these 3 states: Chhattisgarh, Odisha, a part of Andhra, the border, and Jharkhand, right? So the mineral wealth is very important, and the Naxals and the Maoists essentially believe that the rich corporations, especially the private bodies, are looking to kind of loot the mineral wealth of India for their own private purposes. At least in both Chhattisgarh and Odisha, much of the fight has been over that. Vedanta, a company, had tried to do that in Odisha. So the tribals, protests, etc. was against many of these private entities. I completely digress, but all this you people should know, because as I keep saying, in another 2-3 years you'll all be voting as citizens of India. So you should be aware of all these things. The coal for Bhilai steel plant comes from again Korba coalfields, Chhattisgarh. So just keep looking. Jharkhand, much of the raw material was coming from Jharkhand and at best southern part, which is Orissa. Here, and Rourkela is also not very, Rourkela is of course close to both the border of Jharkhand and Orissa. Coal comes here from Korba coalfields in Chhattisgarh. But that is of an inferior quality, so they also get it from the Jharia and Raniganj coalfields from the eastern part of Chhattisgarh, which is Jharkhand. Manganese is brought from Bhandara in Maharashtra, which is to the western part of Chhattisgarh, and Balaghat in Madhya Pradesh. Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. That's how the geography is. As I keep saying, look at the India map. Limestone is brought from Nandini mines, which is close to Bhilai itself. Proximity. Dolomite from Hiri Quarry. Please write all this in separate tables so that it makes learning, remembering this very easy. You'll find all this in your book, so it's not like you'll not find this information. Otherwise, you can just stop, make the table as we go along with the video. Bhilai, again the last part which I said about the connectivity, it's well connected because it's part of central India. So any railway network that crisscrosses India will necessarily pass through some part of Chhattisgarh, preferably close to Bhilai. The power, in that case, it came from Damodar Valley Corporation. Here it comes from the Korba Thermal Power Station, again within Chhattisgarh. The water is provided by Tendula Canal, and I remember telling Tejaswini to remember this in the thing, water Tendulkar. So we remember Tendulkar, Tendula Canal. That's how, you come up with your own kind of code words, what works best for you. Okay, and it's well connected, as I said, by the Southeastern Railway. So that's as far as Bhilai is concerned. Next we come to Rourkela, which is in Odisha. RO, as I said, Rourkela, Odisha, Kent RO, jiske liye Hema Malini advertises. Okay, this was developed with the help of a German firm called Krupps and Demag, Krupps and DEMAG. Okay, Krupps and Demag, Dimag yaad kar lo, and you try to recall something, form some connection in your mind. Again, the different tables that you should make: iron ore from Bonaigad, Mayurbhanj and Normandy. Again, everything is from Orissa or Jharkhand. Coal from Raniganj, Jharia. Okay, again, because you see in the map, you see Orissa is here, Chhattisgarh is here, Jharkhand is here. So everything is almost like a triangle, it's all in close proximity. Limestone and dolomite from Birmitrapur. Manganese from Normandy. Again, everything is in close proximity. Hydroelectric power, in this case from the Hirakud power project. Hirakud, which is a dam constructed over the Mahanadi river, which is the main river in Odisha. So again, the power is from within Orissa itself, right? The water supply is from the Sank river, which is a tributary of the Brahmani river. Okay, and Rourkela again is on the Mumbai-Kolkata line. If you draw a line between Mumbai and going to Kolkata, it will pass through Rourkela. So again, it facilitates the transportation of the goods, the finished product, the steel, to the Kolkata port. Understood? Mumbai, of course, will be much further. In the case of Rourkela, it specializes in the production of heavy steel plates for ships, locomotives and boilers. So that's a specialization as far as Rourkela is concerned, the kind of steel that it manufactures. And it also supplies pipes for the Mathura Petroleum Factory, which is close to Delhi in Uttar Pradesh, and also special steel for the launch vehicles for the Indian space program. The Indian space program, which kind of sends its spaceships, the rockets, the PSLV and the GSLV from Sriharikota, which is in southern Andhra Pradesh. So the steel for that is actually produced at Rourkela steel plant. And also remember, whenever you are talking about anything connected with either defense or space, much of it's extremely done in a very secretive manner, and the space program or the defense program will be very, very careful about where this kind of procurement is done from, because the amount of money that is put into both defense needs as well as space needs, they cannot take any chances with the quality of the material supplied. So the scientists at ISRO or the people, the officials at the defense ministry will be very, very careful about where this kind of steel material is coming from. So that's why it's very clear that it is Rourkela steel plant which supplies the steel for the different space programs of the ISRO, of Indian Space Research Organization. The last one we come to is the Vizag steel plant. Now the Vizag steel plant is the country's first shore-based steel plant because it's right there on the Indian sea coast, on the east coast of India. Vizag is known as the city of destiny. Okay, it was commissioned in 1992 by the Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited, and it's considered one of the more modern plants in India. In fact, Vizag is home to several public sector units. You have the BHPV, you have the Vizag steel plant, you have the Vizag Port Trust. So you have a whole lot of these kind of PSUs which are established in Vizag, and all of them gain a lot by being so close in the proximity of the harbour, the seaport. Iron ore comes from the Bailidila mines in Chhattisgarh. And I think this was the tricky one, because here Bailidila limestone is brought from Birmitrapur and dolomite is brought from Birmitrapur in Orissa. Coking coal is brought from Puki and Bhalor in Jharkhand. See again, Vizag, Jharkhand, Orissa, Chhattisgarh, as I said, it's almost like a rhombus. And imported from Australia, and again being a port, Visakhapatnam has huge facilities in being able to export this steel to different places, one of the largest shipyards in India. Okay, the gas comes from the Krishna Godavari basin, which is off the Andhra coast, where much of the oil exploration is done also by Reliance, and the power comes from Gajuwaka, which again is in Visakhapatnam district of Andhra Pradesh. So that's as far as these four major steel plants are concerned, one in the private sector, which is TISCO in Jamshedpur, and the other three in the public sector. So please make this table, and don't put so much of pressure on your mind that you need to remember all this in one go. You will probably need to revise this at least 8 to 10 times before everything is on the tip of your fingers. And please keep working out different codes of your own, connect it with different kinds of things. I gave you a few examples. Try out something of your own in order to be able to remember. And as I said right at the beginning, get an India map. That will be something which will be very, very useful as far as especially this part of the geography chapter is concerned. Okay, so I'll see you in part 4, where we will discuss the electronics and the software industry, which is based largely out of Bengaluru in Karnataka. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you.